Do you need to replace your rear wiper arm on either your Citroen C1 or Peugeot 107? As like ours, is it loose on the pivot? I'll also show you a handy trick to stop blades from juddering. Stay tuned, let me show you how. The original equipment arm, as fitted at the factory, has a metal insert inside the plastic arm, and eventually it just comes loose. So first thing, with a 12mm socket or spanner, undo the securing nut. Use some good quality penetrating oil, because it's quite likely that this nut is rusted on and might be quite difficult to get started. Here I can pull our plastic arm straight off this insert, and this insert is rusted on to the shaft. I've already tried pulling it off the shaft using this windscreen wiper removal tool, so instead I'm going to treat it like a seized on nut, and I'm actually going to use this nut removal tool. These nut splitters are readily available from most automotive tool shops. This one I've got here I only bought a few weeks ago. I'll link you to it in the description. Do be sure to hold the body of the tool with a spanner whilst you're tightening up. Once it splits on one side, if it doesn't come away from the shaft straight away, go in from the opposite side, which will split it into two, and off it comes. The part of the shaft here that the insert sits on is conical in shape and is also splined. The inside of the insert is also splined. Unfortunately, this insert is a small zinc alloy casting and the shaft is steel, which sets up corrosion due to the two dissimilar metals, and it's the zinc that corrodes into the white powder that you see here, the white powder being zinc oxide, and that gets trapped in there. It expands just like rust on a steel article does, and makes it almost impossible to pull off. With a small wire brush, give the spindle a good clean, get all the white corrosion product off. Now I'm getting rid of the last of the dust with a blast of brake cleaner, and then allow it to dry off. Before you put the new arm back on, I would suggest putting some lithium grease or petroleum jelly on the shaft to protect it and help to prevent corrosion and make it easier to get it off again in the future. Do not put copper grease on here, because copper is another different metal. It'll set up different metal corrosion. I would also encourage you to get a new nut and washer, or a nut with a captive washer, or a flange nut. They're M8. Position your arm and just slip the washer and new nut onto the shaft. Obviously use the appropriate size socket for your new nut. In this instance it's a 13mm, and on this new arm that I've got, the wiper simply clips onto the arm. They came as a pair. This arm also came complete with a new cover, which goes on very similar fashion to the original one. Open it up and the two little pips inside there fit in these holes, and then swing it down and clip it on. Okay, you can see I've positioned the arm a little bit too far down here, so I'll have to readjust it, but the method is exactly the same. That's better position. Want to know a little trick to help stop the blade from juddering? Clean microfiber cloth, dry blade, ordinary WD-40. Just soak a small section of cloth in WD-40, wipe it along the blade. Let it dry. Hey presto, no more juddering. I hope you found this useful. If you got some value, do give it a like down by the title, and see you next time.